Joining me now to talk more about this from Ottawa, where she's attending the roundtable, is Indigenous human rights activist Ellen Gabriel. Ellen, good to talk to you.
Hello.
Thank you. Tell me so far how the roundtable is going from your perspective.
Well, I'm at the People's Conference where there is a lot of testimonials given by the families, and the families are very angry from the results of yesterday. They feel their voices have been silenced, and they don't feel that the provincial and federal authorities are that sincere, because this issue has been going on for a long time, and we have not seen any really positive steps forward in trying to provide safety and security for Aboriginal women and girls. This is really a serious issue that Canada has been aware of for many years, and so this is. The families are not at all satisfied. I'm at Carleton University in those discussions.
What would be satisfying to these families? You know, there are several federal ministers there. There are several premiers there. What would make it more satisfying?
I think what would be satisfying is if the Aboriginal women's groups, the National Aboriginal organizations, and the families, led by the families, put together a national plan of action, first of all, because that provides legal obligations to the Government of Canada to follow, that they provide those kinds of protocols and processes that needed to work with the police to be able to deal with this problem, provide funding. And I think what we need to find and to have is some kind of actions behind the apology that was given to Indigenous people, survivors of residential school, because there has been no reconciliation. And Mr. Harper's comments yesterday regarding that he thinks he's doing enough to address this issue on murdered and missing Indigenous women has infuriated people, is a lack of will, lack of good faith, and does not respect the honor of the Crown that he's supposed to uphold. So a national plan of action would be, I think, one of the priorities, and as well as the inquiry that the families have been asking for many, many years.
The Harper government seems very much against having a national inquiry, saying enough studies have been done. And in fact, you know, there are statistics that show of all the recommendations that have come out from other committees and other meetings, a lot of them have not been implemented. What difference might a national inquiry make, though? Wouldn't it just end up the same way?
A national inquiry probably would be like the Royal Commission on Aboriginal Peoples, which talked about a lot of the issues of colonial-rooted causes and problems that we have in our community. The Indian residential school was an act of genocide. So we have an apology for this kind of action. So next steps is reconciliation, an inquiry and a national plan of action. We cannot separate the two. They two must go hand in hand. It's not just one. Implementing those kinds of ways and using the UN Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People as that reconciliatory framework. It took over 100 years of implementing residential school policies of cultural shame, destroying our language. It's going to take probably that long for us to rebuild our nations, and Mr. Harper needs to put his foot forward and start acting as someone who is the head of government, who's supposed to be protecting the people, because the security and this problem that's happening, violence against Aboriginal women, that's a violation of a human rights. This is not just a criminal issue. It's a multi-layered issue rooted in colonial policies and laws, racism and discrimination.
Ellen, I need to leave it at that in the interest of time, but we very much appreciate yours today. Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Indigenous human rights activist Ellen Gabriel.